You likely grew up hearing that you were gifted. School was effortless. You didn't need to open the textbook or study for the midterms to stay ahead of the class. Everyone, teachers, parents, friends, told you that your natural talent was a guaranteed ticket to a successful life. But now that you're an adult, that promised trajectory has stalled. The momentum you expected to carry you through your 20s and 30s simply hasn't materialized. You see the people who struggled in school, the ones who had to work twice as hard just to get decent grades, and they are the ones building businesses and moving forward. You feel like the smartest person in the room making the least amount of progress. It's the sensation of having a high-performance engine inside your chest that refuses to drive the car. You keep revving it, but nothing moves. Your high intelligence is actually the mechanism holding you back. You aren't failing in spite of how smart you are failing because of it. This trap started when you were praised for your talent rather than your effort. You became addicted to the feeling of looking at a problem and solving it instantly. It created a fragile ego that relies on things being easy. Adult problems are different. They are messy, they have no single correct answer, and they don't solve themselves in 5 minutes. They require a long, uncomfortable struggle. To a mind used to easy wins, having to struggle feels like an insult. You start to believe that if a task requires massive effort, it must mean you aren't smart anymore. You'd rather do nothing than take an action that might prove you're fallible. Your peers who struggled in school had a different experience. They dealt with feeling confused every single day. They learned early on that confusion is the standard first step of learning anything new. That resilience became a superpower you never had to develop. To protect your identity as the gifted one, you stay quiet in meetings. You avoid new projects, choosing the safety of inaction over the risk of being wrong. Even when you do land on a great idea, your brain treats it like a supercomputer stuck in neutral. Because you see so many moves ahead, you analyze every variable, funding, marketing, and how the project could fail. You spend time researching and planning. It feels like work because your brain is spinning, but this is a clever way to stay frozen. Meanwhile, people who don't know enough to be scared just jump in. They make mistakes, look silly, and adjust as they go. But they are in motion while you are still drafting the perfect plan. You are obsessively calculating the cost of a mistake while ignoring the cost of doing nothing. Standing still for 5 years is far more expensive than trying and having it fail. On the rare occasion you do start, the beginning is exciting. Your quick mind craves the novelty of figuring out a new system, but every worthwhile pursuit stops being new. It turns into a grind of boring, repetitive tasks. It's the difference between falling in love and the daily work of staying married. The moment a project becomes routine, you check out. You tell yourself, I get it now, I could finish this if I wanted to, and then you move on to the next shiny idea. This leaves you with a life full of half-finished projects. You've become an expert at the learning phase, but a stranger to the finishing phase. Success is found in the boring work that happens after the initial excitement wears off. Repetition isn't about understanding the task, it's about making your execution automatic. The world rewards action, not potential. It doesn't care how smart you are on paper if you never show your work. To escape this mental cage, point your intelligence toward 3 specific rules of behavior. First, enter the fool phase. Give yourself permission to look dumb and be bad at things. Detach your self-worth from the immediate result and tell yourself you are going to do the first version poorly on purpose. Second, shorten your feedback velocity. Stop planning for months. Ask yourself how fast you can go from an idea to a messy, real-world result. Launch the website with a design you hate, or write a terrible first draft. You must get the car in motion before you can use your brain to steer it. Third, starve the novelty monster. When a project gets boring, recognize that this boredom is the barrier you have to cross to reach success. Commit to a boring period where you aren't allowed to start any new projects until the current one is finished. Treat your intelligence as a tool meant to get dirty building something real, rather than a trophy to keep safe in a cabinet. You aren't a failure. You've just been using your intellect to shield yourself from the discomfort of being a beginner again. Which of these patterns has been holding you back? Is it the fear of looking like a beginner, the endless planning, or the addiction to starting new things? Let's discuss it in the comments. Stop thinking and start moving. Subscribe to decode more of these mental patterns, then close this window and take one imperfect action right now.